Hello, it's Elizabeth Jane Beard here. This is the view of that which speaks. And that doesn't even make sense. Because that which speaks is not a thing that can speak. And that doesn't even make sense. There is nothing sensible that can be said about this experience at all. There's nothing true that can be said about this experience other than that it is an experience. And even to say that isn't correct, because to say that it's an experience would suggest that there has to be an experiencer, and there isn't two. There is only one. There is only experiencing. There is only seeing. To say there's only seeing this picture or this scene would be to suggest that there is something to be seen, and therefore something which has to be seen. In order for that which is seen to be seeable, there must be a seer. That creates two things. There is only one. This is non-dual reality. It is flat. It is a screen, a flat screen, with the appearance of things, which there is no proof that there's any separation between them. No boundaries between them. No thing here, thing there. Flat. It's flat. But I could see the back of it when I was last there. Thought. But I know that there's distance between that red top of that hill and what looks like a video player. It looks like a video player. How do you know about video players? How do you know about them? What do you know about them? Oh, well, I've used them. Really? Well, let's go. You've gone to mind there to figure out what that is. Don't rely on something that's not here in this present moment. What's in this present moment? There's a picture. That's it. There's thoughts about what that picture means. Where are those thoughts occurring? In a head. Well, where's the head? There's no head here. Look, there is no head. There is no body. There is a picture of a red something. Well, to say it was fabric would then elicit all the ideas about what it means to be made of fabric and how it's made. All happened outside this moment. Where did this moment come from? Bang. Where did it come from? Where did this moment come from? Okay, you can say, oh, well, that came from there, and outside is this, and, we are on a globe. We're all living on a globe, apparently. Where is the evidence for any of that in this moment? Right now. Bang. How did this get here? Answer me. How did it get here? If you go to mind to tell the answer, then you are going to get the wrong answer. You cannot get mind to explain this. Mind will come up with all manner of stories. Some of them believed by the rest of, well, not the rest of humanity, but some being part of collective consciousness and others being completely left field and get you into trouble. Possibly put into a nut house. This is non-dual reality. This view is non-dual reality. And it's much nicer, isn't it, to believe that you're a separate person and that you are walking around in a body, inside a body. You have a body. And you have the right to choose what to do with it. And you do that. That's what you want. That's what everybody wants, and that's what a lot of people think they've got. Some people are trying to give up the notion of that because they want to be awakened. They want to get all enlightened and stuff. And then, they'll be more flash than everybody else. Well, if you have ideas about becoming enlightened or awakened and you want to really know what's true, well, get comfortable behind here. Get comfortable looking at this. Just looking at it and knowing that that's all you're ever doing is just looking at this. I mean, the details can change. You know, things can come and go. Things can come and go. Nothing comes and goes. The picture changes. The picture changes, and there are sights and sounds and thoughts to go with it, about what's being seen and heard, and it's all very entertaining for that which thinks it is doing it all. The doer. That which thinks it is the doer, which is the ego. I am an ego. The one who is talking is an ego. The one that is seeing talking occurring is not the ego, but is not even a one. There is nothing there. It is not a thing. It is not a being. It is not anything that can be described. It is seeing itself. It is pure seeing. It is pure love. It is pure intelligence. And have to have been intelligent in order to have created this experience, because there is no creator outside of the experience. There is just the experience itself. There is not two. There is not a creator and a created. There is only creation taking place from moment to moment. Creation is occurring. Not things are being created. Not God is creating things. Not even God is being created. God has never been created. Nothing has ever been created. There is only creation. Ongoing, it would appear, and not by anything that I'm being proven in this moment, but the mind seems to want to hold on to the idea that there have been things that have happened prior to this point of recording this for YouTube. No evidence for it in this moment. No evidence. There's no evidence for anything other than this moment in any moment. And that's the problem. When you're in that situation, you are absolutely stuck smack bang in the middle of the now, and you cannot get out. And it's like a cell. It feels like a cell. Looking at this, albeit changing, I mean, things can be happening. All sorts of movement in the vision, in the view, on the screen. Doesn't change the fact that it's a screen. Who wants to be in that situation? I don't know why anybody would ever want to see that for the truth that it is. And most people don't want to see it. Most people don't even know that such a vision could exist. Some people are only interested in getting food on their table, which is by far the top priority. And I totally agree with doing that. It's only the ones who've got everything else that they ever needed who start climbing Maslow's hierarchy of needs and get to self-actualization. Which is where you start saying, well, what am I? What is this? Who am I? What is truth? What is truth? What is true? Is any of this real? Those kind of questions will lead you eventually to the perspective that is being discussed now. And that is the perspective of non-dual reality, no separation. And then to say no separation between things. There's no between and there's no things. There are no things. And to say there's a view is not even right either. There is not a view. There is only viewing. There's just viewing. And in order for there to be viewing, there must be something to be viewed and some viewer in an interaction, a viewer and a viewed, for there to be viewing taking place. But that's two, and there is not two. There is only one. It's very clearly there's only one. It's just obvious, and there can never be anything other than the case that there's only one. There can be the believing that there is more than one at other times, and that being the perspective taken, but there's only ever one. And it's obvious by this that there's only one. Now, what does that mean for a person let's call them a person watching this and seeing a completely different view themselves and saying, well, that must be me. Well, indeed. I mean, investigate for yourself. What does that mean? What does that mean about you? To me, anything to do with you is irrelevant. From the perspective I'm taking, it's irrelevant unless I adopt a different ego from Lisa, the separate person ego, and I adopt the ego of a divine character. Say, I don't know, Mary or Shakti. If I took the perspective of a divine character, that divine character would say that there is absolutely no reason for any person on this planet to see the world this way and to suffer the world this way. Because I have created a world. I somehow have managed to create a world. And when I say somehow, I actually don't know how I did it. But I just know that it was done. Because I can see it. I see that world that I created. And by I'm not meaning Lisa. Lisa did not create anything. Lisa was created by that which created this. That which created this is talking through the body with the name Lisa. That which created all of this is not a person, is not a being, is not a thing. It is pure potentiality. And it's not even in it. Pure potentiality, which includes the potential to see. There does not have to be the potential for something to be seen, something else to be the seer. For seeing to take place, the potential for that is what is occurring. Is it occurring anywhere in time and space? No, there is no time, there is no space. Where this is being experienced, there is no time or space. Those are all mind constructs that do not exist in this room or anywhere in this moment. The character who has taken over here for this particular video is the divine one. Call her what you will. Lisa used to call her Christ. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you call her. As long as you know who she is. Now, she is she only for convenience purposes. And out of fairness. It's been men all the rest of the time. The main ones have all been men. Well, this time Maitreya can be a woman. I think women have come to the fore since the last Maitreya. And they deserve to be in charge. And in charge doesn't mean being a totalitarian or system where everybody gets told what to do. In my world, which this must surely be, because there's no one else here, even if a picture comes where? If a picture of a person starts moving in the picture that I'm looking at, if there's looks like there's body-shaped movement in the corner, then what? How does that affect me? It did they make this? How did they make this view for me? How could they have? They are in my view. They can't have made the view that I'm looking at them in. They cannot have created the view that I am looking at. That which is part of that view can't possibly have created it. It just can't. It's an impossibility. So who did? That which is viewing and that which is viewed are not separate. So who created it? It had to have been created somehow. Big Bang, well, hopefully you can see that the Big Bang just doesn't work. We're looking at things in a real fundamental way here. Big Bang is a big story. Big, long story. Very, very, very long story. This is basic, very basic. Look and see how basic this is. Where does the Big Bang fit in here? There is no Big Bang here. There's no Big Bang. I mean, it was a load of bullshit. Absolute load of bullshit. Good story. Very good story, but not true. Where did this moment come from? Oh, well, there was a Big Bang, and then a whole lot of planets formed, and then some life started, and then we found that we could talk to each other on the internet. I mean, come on, what a story. What a big, long, laborious story. When what the reality is in this moment is this that can be seen. Bang, that's it. Where did it come from? I don't know how many times I'm going to ask, where did this come from? But if you want to be able to fill out where this came from with some really nice stories, better than the stories that you've got at the moment, some really, really amazing stories about where everything came from. Stories that just fill you with so much relief and excitement about the future. And joy, but mostly relief. To have that and to be able to walk around knowing that you are a separate self in the world belonging to the self. I mean, that must be an awesome way to feel. That would be an awesome way for Lisa to feel if that was the case. I mean, Lisa does feel that, but she's also full of a lot of doubt. And understandably so. The ego that expresses itself through the body named Lisa or Elizabeth Jane Beard is a very fragile one, because it's been split apart so many times and then put back together again using all manner of things that aren't particularly good, such as medication. But Lisa has to pull together a separate self in order to operate in the world. And however that has to be done that way until better ways are found. So I think it's important that people really appreciate what people about to say, if there's anybody out there watching, which at this moment, looking here, no proof for anyone. No proof for anyone, and no person here wishing there was anyone who it was for, and simply nothing more in this moment but talking, being heard, and sensations of a body sensations or sense perceptions that are not situated anywhere in space or time. And a blank mind. Totally blank. Just nothing in it. There's no thoughts here. No thoughts. Just speaking. There are no thoughts here. Looking for thoughts and there are none. There are none. There is silence here. Just silence. and then speaking arising out of that silence with no agenda, no agenda at all, and no advanced thought or advanced planning. It's just spontaneously words are coming out of silence. And there is a sense perception that there's movement in an area which an ego would call a mouth, which sounds all very nitpicky, but really language is very poor in trying to explain that which exists where there is no language. It can't actually be done. You cannot use language to describe the experience of non-dual reality, because it is before there was language. It is what there is when there is no language, when there is no thought. I hope I've made myself clear. I really hope that these videos wake people up, because it's important for what I see on my screen, that I see nice things on my screen. And the I that I'm talking about now is the ego called Lisa, who is speaking from the point of view of a divine ego. If there's not a little separate person there, ego, anymore, then let's say there is a divine ego there. And I'm not trying to couch things or scoot around the subject. It's obvious from this perspective that I am God. Now, if you're looking at things from this seeing this perspective as well, it must be obvious to you that you are God. There can be no other explanation for it. You must be God. You must be. But what I'm suggesting to you is that rather than be in this situation, that you be in the situation of being in God's world and being a separate person in that world, and just take a load off. Take a load off. I mean, I would do that, but for the fact that I don't trust anyone else to do it better than me. To be the one and be in control of all the separate ones. I would not want to be that. Unless there was no one else that I thought was properly qualified to be there, and there's no one. The only one who's properly qualified to be in charge of all the number twos is me. But it could equally have been somebody else if they could have convinced me that they could be trusted. If I totally trusted someone else to be in charge, then I would let them be in charge of me. But there's none, and there never will be. Until I have a child of my own. And my current children I trust enough. But there's one more child that I would like to have. And yes, I'm getting very old, so chances are, well, what can I say? Who's speaking? Surely God, if she wanted to become pregnant, would become pregnant. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? How can it be the case that I can make things happen? Well, the thing is, I can't. I, the one who's speaking, I, Lisa, cannot make things happen. She has no power. Just like you do not have any control yourselves. Your individual selves in meat suits do not have any control. Equally, Lisa does not have any control. Lisa does not get to say, oh, God, can I please have this? I mean, she can say that, and she can sometimes get it, but it doesn't mean she will. There's not that sort of direct relationship. I mean, there is, in truth, no separation. They are one and the same. But in the game, in the play, it's a separate mechanism. Anyway, there's nothing else that I really want to say. I hope, as I said, I hope this has woken up some people. And I hope that it continues to wake people up. Because it's truth. And everyone ought to know it. Sooner rather than later.